27th, we've had over 100 new members, and altogether we have over 1,500 members now. Among our membership, we managed to raise £35,000 to help the people of Gaza, and we sent that to Physicians for Human Rights Israel, and I've got an email here sent to us by a woman member of Physicians for Human Rights Israel. So I'll just sum up her email. She said they were given permission to enter Gaza with a cargo of medicines and medical equipment, and this was sent in 2 trucks, and they accompanied, supporters of Physicians for Human Rights Israel accompanied these trucks in 3 buses. But when they got to Ashkelon, the police forced them to turn back, forced the buses to turn back to Tel Aviv. They confiscated the licenses of the bus drivers, and the bus drivers were so afraid of losing their licenses that they turned round and drove the buses back to Tel Aviv. And the woman who sent this said, "I'd like to remind those who read this that we live in the only democracy in the Middle East." As for the trucks, they've never reached Gaza. One of them is still waiting at the border. Another one has never been allowed to reach the border because the Gazan bus that was supposed to receive the supplies on the other side of the border crossing was bombed. On the subject of Israeli dissident groups, there's a letter in The Guardian today from, I think it's about 20 Israelis calling for Israel to be boycotted by the outside world. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Thank you very much. As you all know, these protests cost a lot of money, so we do need to collect money from you in order to pay the costs of all of these protests, including this one in Trafalgar Square. There are people going round in the crowd with buckets, so please be generous. Our next speaker is the GMB International Solidarity Officer. The GMB is one of the largest unions in Britain. She also is the Secretary of the Venezuela Information Centre. You'll all be aware of the fantastic role that the Venezuelan government have played in supporting the people of Gaza, and so I'm very pleased, and I would ask everyone to listen to her. Please give a warm welcome for Joni McDougall, who is speaking, reading a statement on behalf of the Venezuelan Ministry of Women. Joni McDougall.
Comrades, friends, and to the many noisy brothers that are over there, some of the sisters are trying to communicate what we feel about Palestine. I'm very honoured to be reading out the statement which has been sent to us here from the Bolivarian government of Venezuela, from the State Minister for Women and President of the National Women's Institute, Maria Leone. And it reads, "We repudiate the military attack perpetrated by the Zionist State of Israel with the endorsement of the Bush administration against the Palestinian people living in the Gaza Strip. The unprecedented scope of the severe violations of the provisions contained in treaties, conventions and other international humanitarian laws, mainly against women, boys and girls, constitutes a crime against humanity and becomes one of the major genocides perpetrated with war weapons in such a short time against such a people who have been so besieged. We support the decision made by Commander President Hugo Chavez of declaring the Israeli ambassador to the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela persona non grata, and hereby urge all women's organisations, community organisations, human rights defenders and all peace-loving forces from around the world and the international community to demand: 1. That the Israeli bombings and the actions undertaken by its army against the Palestinian people stops immediately. 2. That the economic blockade and any military aggression against the Palestinian people Gaza ceases immediately. And 3. That there is the immediate withdrawal by Israel from the Palestinian occupied territories. The Minister goes on to say that we give the full support of Venezuelan women to the women of Palestine for their legitimate rights, and to the men and children for a Palestinian homeland, and request the immediate intervention of the United States and all the human rights international bodies to stop the aggressions of the Palestinian people. Yes. And I'm going to wind up now. That's the end of their speech. We in the UK are ashamed that our government have done nothing more than make a few statements, albeit a wee bit more strongly worded than Blair's administration. But without actions and without punishment, Israel will continue doing what it has always done. It ignores countless resolutions while killing in their thousands. We salute the people of Venezuela for their unprecedented support. Viva Venezuela!